Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to have a walk down the temporary market on Beach Road while we have a chat about saving face. What is it and why is it so important in Asia? So if you're thinking of coming to Thailand, then it would be a good idea to learn what saving face is in Asia. If you understand the concept, it explains a lot of little white lies and can avoid destroying your relationship. Saving face is not considered to be the same as lying in Thailand, although to Westerners it looks exactly like lying. But the difference is the reasons behind it. The purpose of saving face is to allow people to save their reputation and dignity. If you ever embarrass or shame a Thai person, especially in public, because they did something wrong, calling them out is far worse than what they did wrong in the first place. It's considered to be very insulting and is a very bad thing to do, to embarrass or shame someone in public in Thailand, particularly in public, although it's bad enough in private. Thais will never admit that they did something wrong because by doing so they're losing face and become shamed. So let me tell you a little example of the sort of reaction Thai people make if you make them lose face, okay? By the way, before I start, the traffic in Thailand drives on the left side of the road, like in the UK, okay? So, a friend of mine was driving his car. I was sitting in the passenger seat when we came to a traffic light junction, a small one, and he wanted to turn left, which you're allowed to do. There was a motorcycle taxi stopped in the left lane, blocking him from turning left. And you're allowed to do that, no problem, even on red. It's quite legal in Thailand, okay? And the motorbike was blocking the way, so my friend honked his horn and put his window down and said, "Can you move?" Now, that was causing shame to the motorbike taxi driver, who did move, but then as we drove past, he shouted insults at my friend. And then as we were driving down the road after turning left, the next thing, the motorbike taxi driver was riding alongside, banging on the side of the car. Then he rode off, and he came back 2 minutes later with a rock in his hand, and he threw the rock at the car. Luckily, it bounced off the window and didn't actually do any damage. But it was his reaction to being shamed and told he was in the wrong place, doing the wrong thing, and he lost face. Can you imagine that reaction in the West? It would never happen. But that's a perfect example of losing face. In the West, you're expected to own up to your mistakes and take responsibility for your actions, which then allows you to correct your behavior, and progress is made. Things get better. Have you ever noticed that Thai people never complain about services? I mean, if someone does something very bad, Thais will never complain, because to complain makes the person lose face. Another example was when I was in a restaurant and the food was atrocious. And when I complained to the waiter, my Thai companion went berserk and said, "You can't say that, you can't say that. It makes them look bad, it makes them lose face." But that's the way it is. With this concept, what happens is that there's no progress, there's no improvement, because no one complains. So the service provider is not aware that there's a problem, or maybe they just don't care if nothing gets better, okay? If you ever strongly criticize a Thai for anything, or say that they told a lie, for example, then you have caused them to lose face. So you have done the wrong. Doesn't matter what they did, you have done the wrong, this really very bad wrong. And that's far worse than whatever you may have criticized him for in the first place. The fact that you are telling the truth is irrelevant. Part of the purpose of saving face is to avoid conflict. And if you call someone out about something, you are in the wrong because you're causing conflict. It doesn't matter what the person did. To Thais, it's quite acceptable to tell a lie if you're saving face. But to Westerners, it's just the opposite. Now, we think, how can you build a real level of trust with someone if you catch them lying about small things that don't matter? What else are they lying about is what we think. The best way to think about it is to consider, in the West we have what you call white lies, which are considered acceptable to a great degree. This is what happens in Thailand. So a white lie could be considered the same as a lie just to save face, as long as it's not serious. But obviously, an honesty policy is always better. But good luck with that in Thailand. I hope that this explains the concept of saving face, guys. Yeah? Right, it's story time. By the way, guys, let me remind you that YT are suppressing many Pattaya channels on purpose and unsubbing people deliberately. So please check that you're still subscribed and share this video with friends who maybe didn't get their notification. And don't forget, have a look at the link below, have a look at the free Instagram, which is all clips from Patreon. Okay, guys, let's get on with the story. So this is a story from my hairdresser friend about one of her customers called Phi, who is very pretty and about 25. So Phi worked in a bar on Soy Bacau and met an Australian guy called Jim from the western side of Australia who worked in the mining business, and he was a regular to Pattaya, mainly because he had plenty of money available and regular time off work, like 1 or 2 weeks at a time, very often. And really he wasn't too far away. I think it's only a 6 or 7 hour flight from Perth to Bangkok, something like that. So the two of them got on really well together and always had a great time when he came, which was every 2 or 3 months. So after about a year of this, Jim decided that, well, he felt serious about Phi, and he decided he didn't want her working in the bar anymore. So he suggested that she give up work and go home to Buriram, and he would support her. Now, Phi saw this as an opportunity to have an extended vacation because she was getting fed up with working so much. So she agreed and gave up work and went home to Buriram. And Jim started sending her about 30,000 baht, which is around about $900 a month, just enough to survive in Isan. So everything was fine for a while. Each time Jim came on vacation to Pattaya, Phi would get the bus down and they would stay together in Pattaya for a couple of weeks. And this went on for several months, until one day Phi was on the bus going back to Buriram when it made its usual regular stop at Chachoengsao, where it takes on new passengers. And as the passengers boarded, Phi's mouth fell open in shock as she came face to face with Somchai. Now, Somchai was a handsome young Thai guy from her village in Buriram and was the unrequited love of Phi's life, as they had just started dating 4 years ago when he got a job, a really good job, opportunity to go work with his uncle in Chachoengsao. And she had not seen him from that day until 4 years ago until now. He sat down beside her and the pair started chatting excitedly for the whole 4 hours until the bus finally arrived in Buriram. It turns out that Somchai's boss, his uncle, was opening an extension of his business with Somchai's dad in Phai's village in Buriram, and Somchai was on his way back permanently to help his dad run it. Phai couldn't believe her luck, running into the one boy she had had a crush on before she left Buriram to go work in Pattaya. Well, you can imagine for the next 6 weeks the pair were inseparable. But of course, Somchai was only making an average Thai wage of about 15,000 baht a month, and Phai's family were reliant upon the 30,000 baht a month from Jim. So the time came when Jim was due back to Pattaya, and Phai explained to Somchai that she had to go as it was her family duty, and her family did not want to lose Jim's 30,000 baht a month that they had come to rely on. So she went back to Pattaya for 2 weeks, and her and Jim had a great time together. They still got on very well. But after 2 weeks, Phai couldn't wait to get back to Buriram into the arms of Somchai. 2 months later, Jim was due back again, and the day before Phai was due to take the bus back to Pattaya, she started feeling a little bit sickly, and she went to the doctor, who did a test and said, "You're pregnant." Oh my God, she thought. My family are going to lose 30,000 baht a month, and I've now got a baby to take care of as well. So then an idea popped into her head. So when she went to meet Jim in Pattaya, she said, "I have some good news for you. I've had a contraceptive injection, so we don't need to use protection anymore." Jim was very pleased, and for the next 2 weeks they had a ball. Then Jim went home, and Phai went back to Buriram. 3 weeks later, Phai made a video call with Jim. "I've got some news for you. I've missed my period, and the pregnancy test is positive. You're going to be a daddy." It looks like the contraceptive injection didn't work. Jim was shocked, but positive, and said that he would continue to support Phai, and he kept coming to Thailand as before. 8 months passed, and Phai had a baby girl. 2 weeks later, Jim came to Buriram, just for a few days as arranged, to meet his new daughter. And what Phai found out later was that Jim brought with him a DNA swab tester, which he used to take saliva from the baby's mouth when Phai was out of the room. Jim went home a few days later. A week later, Phai had a message from Jim, which said, "Nice try, but the baby's not mine. Goodbye." And he cut off all support. On top of that, Somchai did a runner back to Chachen Sao. This is Thailand. I thought it was really funny when she told me. I had to laugh, I really did. Anyway, that's the way it is here, isn't it, you know? Okay, guys. Now then, listen. Don't forget, YT are doing lots of unsubbing all the time with everybody. Please check your subscribe still. Please check, and please send any forward videos to any friends that you maybe got unsubscribed. You know, we've got to fight this, okay? And have a look at Instagram. The link's below, and have a look at Patreon. Okay, guys. Thanks very much. See you on the next video.